Hi, it's Jon Ray. First off, thank you for letting me read my book to you. I'm so appreciative of your support and time. Second, and then I'll get into the book, at the time of this recording, I'm still seeking out a publisher that feels like a good fit for me. If you're a literary agent or a publisher or just someone that knows about that world and resonate with anything in this book, I'd love to hear from you. You can find my contact information in the notes to this audio or at awesomeintuition.com. Thank you all so much. Let's begin. Health and vitality. Is it possible to live forever? If you mean in your physical corporeal body, then no. If you mean as a consciousness, yes, you are forever. However, you are capable of living much, much longer lives than you are currently living in your physical form. Remember, altogether, Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. Is there a way of living that is conducive to long-lasting health? And if so, what is the best way to live a healthy lifestyle? Again, our message is to follow your intuition. Your intuition will always guide you towards that which is best for you. The same can be applied as it concerns the food that you put into your body, the health practices that you take part in, the exercise that you may or may not take part in. Your intuition will show you what you need when you ask it for guidance. The mere asking from a place of energetic alignment, what is best for me? Should I eat this? And then listening for your first thoughts or for the feeling that your body produces about something will tell you whether or not it is something that is currently serving you. Of course, anything can serve you if you choose it to. You are the creator of your life, which means you get to define the food you put into your body however you choose. There's no such thing as a definitively good or bad food, but often you do hold limited beliefs that make certain food items a mismatch to you. However, if you just altered or removed those beliefs about food or exercise that are not serving you, that would give you access to an easier or more fun experience where you truly were the decider of your life. Nearly every food item on your planet has been deemed as inappropriate by someone at some point. It can be very difficult to navigate the landscape of your grocery store, for with so many varying perspectives on what you should or should not eat, how do you know what to put into your mouth? This is where your intuition and the body's intelligence comes in. If you will hold something in your hand and ask yourself, is this the right match for my particular body frequency? And then listen to your body, you will begin to receive signals. They may be faint at first, but in time they will grow stronger. Sometimes a response will come as a rushing up or a rushing down of energy in the body. Sometimes you will get an actual intuitive thought. You will hear what sounds like an audible voice of yes or no. The key is to never become discouraged if you cannot perceive the subtle signals your body is giving you at first. With practice, they will come into focus for you. Ask to receive clarity in your ability to discern what is best for your body, and you will receive it in perfect timing. Just remember, the ultimate truth is that you are the decider of your life, and you give the energy to every choice you make. When you do choose to eat something, it would serve you to take great joy in the consumption of it. Do not feel guilty about it. Do not constantly, as you're taking bites of a cookie, talk about how bad the cookie is for you, for that is the energy that you will feed it. The cookie has neutral energy until you decide how it will affect your body. If you decide that you wish to have a cookie or that you wish to follow dinner with a dessert, then revel in that dessert. Talk about how it is the best dessert you have ever had. Talk about how delicious it is. Talk about how you love the way the ingredients came together in the way that they did. Talk about how you love the presentation, for this fuels that food with an energy that matches your excitement, the expectation that you have for it. It allows any negative components of that food to pass through so that your body can easily bring in only what it needs. It is your energy that you give to anything that ultimately determines the chemical reaction that it will have within your body. Are you saying that health has more to do with our energy than with anything else? Yes, as you're making various food choices or determining what exercise would be best suited for you, your intuition and your body's intelligence will guide you to the things that are a frequency match to your physical body. Anytime that you choose anything, know that it is the energy which you give it, your definition of it, which will determine how effective or detrimental it will be. That is why you will have 100 people who all do the same workout program, and 50 of them will have one response, and 50 of them will have a different response. Or there will be 10 groups of 10 that all have different responses, or all 100 participants will all have different responses, for they are all thinking about the workout and all holding different beliefs about how it will affect their body. No two bodies are the same, which is why it serves you to take cues from your body to find healthcare options that are in harmony with your personal frequency. If you are wishing to make some sort of an alteration in your body, whether it be to live longer or to lose weight or to have more ageless and timeless looking skin or energy, then approach everything that you eat, approach every exercise that you take with the energy and attitude of that timelessness. For in believing that something will make you timeless, you will find that you live much longer. Are you saying that we control our own health and vitality? Absolutely. You're in control of everything in your reality, especially your personal health, because you're so intimately connected to it. You give so much thought to it because you're always seemingly lugging that body around with you. When you recognize that your body is just an illusory mechanism your consciousness uses to have an experience of itself, you feel much lighter. How would you explain waking up and feeling groggy? How would you explain that? That doesn't feel like you've chosen it. If you are experiencing anything, know that you have a pattern of thought that is producing the manifestation of the reality of the circumstance. If you wake up feeling groggy, it could be helpful to analyze what happened the night before that might have put you in that groggy state. Did you go to sleep unhappy? Did you go to sleep thinking that you were going to regret the things that you put into your body the night before? Did you go to sleep thinking that you would wake up with a hangover? Did you go to sleep dreading the coming workday? Is your body trying to get you to rest for a change? In the thought that you were not going to feel well in the morning, you woke up groggy. By spending time in your waking hours performing tasks that do not excite you, energy drains from your life and results in a hazy or groggy experience of reality. Anything that you perceive is the result of a pattern of thoughts that have gained momentum within you. If you dread going to work, or being in a relationship, or not living your dream, or being overweight, all of these things can result in you cutting yourself off from the infinite energy source that is available to you. If you ate something the night before that you knew was going to be a mismatch to you, then it is hard for you to get past that definition, for you went into it feeding the food energy that it was going to have an ill effect on you, and so it manifested as grogginess. Also, know that grogginess is not always a bad thing. Just like sweating is your body getting rid of toxins that do not serve it, often grogginess or sickness is just the body's efficient mechanism for bringing itself back into balance. Go with the flow and do not beat yourself up for things like feeling somewhat off. Take a nap and rest when your body asks you to do so. Become aware of the choices that you make and then feed your own energetic response to those choices. If your energetic responses are negative, they will have negative consequences. But first, you've got to become aware of the energy you're feeding to every area of your life. In becoming aware of your energy levels and the things you are doing to create your energy levels, you will discover a healthier way of being. As we have said, food is merely the container. You decide what energy the container will hold as you bring it into your body. This is the reason so many traditions ask you to pray over your food. You're programming it to your personal frequency. It is the energy that you've assigned to it that ultimately fuels and sustains you, not the food itself. Food is merely the container through which the energy you've assigned is delivered. Is there ever anything that we shouldn't eat or put into our bodies? There's never anything that you should or shouldn't do, but if you hold a belief system about something, about a certain food having a certain effect on you, and you do not wish for it to have that effect, then do not eat it. Often when you hold a food in your hand, when you look at it on the menu, you have an immediate knowing that you're going to regret eating it. That feeling tells you that you have a belief system that says that this food is not up to speed with your current vibration. We would not eat anything that we were not in full energetic alignment with and exhilarated about eating. Why do new diseases like AIDS or cancer show up, and how do they spread so quickly? Creation is always inspiring creation, and often in your society, certain groups will come together with a certain consciousness about their health, about their own personal power, and in the practicing of lack regarding certain subjects, they will manifest the tangible experience of that lack through the path of least resistance. Oftentimes this comes in the form of some type of disease. As a disease becomes more rampant in a society, as the media draws more attention to it, as more people in your life begin to contract the disease, then you begin to resonate with the disease and draw it into your experience as an energetic potential. If you are not a balanced person, the imbalance will manifest itself as disease in your body through the energetic path of least resistance. If you have a belief system that cancer is possible for you, or even a fear of cancer, then the path of least resistance that the imbalance manifests in your body might be cancer. But you are in control, for if you are able to find a place of balance, then you will not attract any of these things. Your body is incredibly efficient at eliminating toxins and disease when allowed to operate in full energetic balance. You can always shift in less than a second from a body that is riddled with disease to a parallel body reality that is completely healthy. You must only believe it is possible and then choose it. Spontaneous healing happens all the time on your planet, often before a person even realized they had the disease in the first place. Disease and injury often feel like they're happening to you, not with you. Do you have any words to address this? When there's an imbalance in your body, whatever the reason, often it is emotional or psychological in nature, this imbalance prevents your body from literally pulling in rays of light. This light allows your cells certain access to information, to ideal blueprints of how to recreate themselves. When that light is scrambled through your imbalance, oftentimes disease will manifest itself within your body as a signal that you are out of balance. It begins in very subtle ways so that you might catch your imbalance early. However, in a society that chooses to treat symptoms rather than root issues, these signals are very often ignored, only to manifest in stronger ways to get you to pay attention to them. Fear not, though, for just as easy as a disease comes into your life, it can dissipate as well. You can always choose to experience a parallel version of your reality, which would include your body. You are actually shifting through billions of different bodies in every second, but you expect that your body will be the same, so it continues to render as you expect it to be. Depending on how up to speed you are with the idea of healing, it is very possible to experience what some might call spontaneous remission or spontaneous healing once an imbalance has been addressed. The purpose of most of the energy psychology work being done on your planet is to bring the body back into energetic balance so that it can heal itself. Self-healing is absolutely possible and something that happens more frequently than any of you would believe. Self-healing is the way your bodies are designed to operate. Oftentimes, you will contract a disease like cancer, and yet, because you are not someone who is constantly going to the doctor asking, "What is wrong with me?" you don't even realize that you have it. Then the cancer dissipates before you ever even discover it within your body. Your body is designed to keep you in balance. You just have to stay out of its way. Are you telling us not to go and get health checkups? We are saying to live intuitively. If you have an intuition that comes from a place of balance that says go to the doctor, then by all means go to the doctor. But if you never have that intuition, then perhaps there is not a need to be going every single week or every single month to the doctor and saying, "What is wrong with me? I feel healthy, but I know the big one's right around the corner. Tell me, doctor, tell me what's wrong with me." For in the expectation or worry that something is going to be wrong with you, or that it is even possible for you, you create the misalignment in your body, which often manifests as disease. I think many times, not just with health, we have that question in our heads. I know I've thought it many times, what's wrong with me? So that thought pattern is actually creating an in for disease by the expectation that something is wrong. Anytime you are resonating with the potential of imbalance as opposed to the absolute nature of balance and well-being, then you open yourself up to disease. If we find ourselves with a disease or with an injury, what is the best way to deal with it, to overcome it, or remove it from our bodies? How do we first deal with it? First, embrace it and appreciate it for what it is going to teach you about yourself. Then, recognize that your intuition is very powerful. As we have stated, living intuitively is the best way for you to find certain ideas that are tuned to your personal frequency. If we found ourselves in a place of resistance to well-being that opened us up to imbalance, that then opened us up to some sort of disease, we would ask ourselves out loud, what is the best course of action for the quickest healing? And then listen for the response. Then listen for the inspiration. It could come from a magazine ad, from a friend, from a book, from a doctor. Oftentimes, when you say that something is wrong with you, people will come out of the woodworks to tell you how you can fix it. And you must listen to the solutions that are brought to you and feel into your body to understand which one feels best for you. Your emotions will always guide you towards the best course of action. Do the thing that makes your heart sing. It is the whistle which calls health into your life. If someone presents a solution to you about how to rid yourself of a certain disease, and it feels good to you, it feels like the next logical step, it feels like it will work, then by all means, take that step. It does not necessarily mean that it will be the thing that ultimately heals you, but it might move you in a direction of healing yourself. For all healing is self-healing. Just know that you have done nothing wrong. There are no mistakes. This too will pass, and you will grow from the experience. Oftentimes, people who are practicing a frequency of imbalance but wish to change that pattern of thought will attract a disease into their life simply so they can have something tangible to act as a yardstick which they may use to measure their own progress and spiritual, emotional growth. Frequently, people that are living a frequency of imbalance but wish to find a frequency of balance will manifest a disease merely so they can have a tape measure to see how far they've come from their old framework of thought. A disease can merely be a way to prove to yourself that you are in control of your body. How empowering to have a disease that someone has told you is incurable, only to then cure yourself of it. That is a very empowering position to be in, especially if you understand that it was you who brought about the healing. No one outside of you ever heals you. Always you heal yourself. Others may inspire that healing, but ultimately you must make the choice for health. Once healed from your place of empowerment, you may be a light for others who are just starting their journey of personal growth and balance triggered by disease. The best teachers are those who have intimately lived the lesson. Could it also mean that sometimes people choose a disease or a cancer or an injury so great that they choose to leave the planet in this way? Could that be a choice? It could be a choice that you make from a limited perspective, a limited framework of thought. For truly, if you understood your own power, you would understand that when you're ready to leave this planet, you can set the intention to leave, count to 3, and then your consciousness simply leaves your body. There is no need to manifest a disease to do so. If people feel stuck or in stagnation, or are no longer exhilarated with the concept of living the way that they've been living, sometimes it is just easier to leave. Perhaps they've been practicing a frequency of thought for so long that it is just easier to die and come back in with a fresh perspective as a new child. Many intuitively know that there is such beautiful expansion and joy that one experiences the second they leave their physical body and transition back into non-physical. Sometimes people merely wish to move on to that state, and seeing no other way, they create a disease to help them in their transition. We would say that if you've brought about a disease, close your eyes. Now say, I no longer wish to be here in this body, and then count to 3. If you are still here, then from a higher perspective, there is still something that you wish to do or achieve here on this physical plane. So if that is the case, we would find a way to heal ourselves of the disease, use that personal healing as a point of empowered focus, and then find a place of intuitive balance where we could understand better what it is we still hope to achieve while we are incarnated in this form on this planet. Why does homeopathic medicine seem to work for some but not for others? And is homeopathic medicine better than prescription? There is no better or worse. Anything that you would take into your body with the understanding that it could make you feel better is valid. It is simply your belief system around the remedy which gives it its energy. Just as with food or with anything else, it is a container for a certain energy, and oftentimes, depending on your belief systems, you are only able to believe that a traditional form of medicine can heal you. So if allopathic medicine is the highest belief system that you can conjure regarding your personal health, then by all means, take prescription medication, have the surgery, have whatever it is that you believe is going to bring you the healing that you require. But know that they are all merely excuses for you to heal yourself. At any given point in time, you can make the conscious decision to heal in a new way, to shift to a body that is in balance. When it comes to homeopathic medicine, it can be very effective for some people because they have a belief system, even if they are not conscious of it, that allows them to intuitively understand homeopathic medicine is just reminding their body of a frequency that was already there and available to them. In that reminder, homeopathics are tuning your body's subtle energies to a certain frequency of health. Some people come in more intuitively tapped into those subtle energies and therefore see accelerated results. It is the same with an energetic healer. An energetic healer is holding a frequency of health, and then your body is resonating with that frequency that the healer is holding for you. As you resonate with the healer's energy, your body accepts that frequency as its own. It is always you who does the healing, though. The healer is merely holding the energetic template or potential in a vivid way that you are then able to choose should you wish to accept it into your body. However, some people do not have a belief system that homeopathic medicine is valid, even though there is great evidence supporting the benefits it offers. Many people have read too many scientific reports about how homeopathic medicine could not be nearly as effective as prescription medication. That's okay. But if they choose to take that information and integrate it within themselves as truth, then homeopathic medicine will not necessarily be as valid a form of healing for them. This is where personal discernment becomes very important. There are many reports that are not necessarily valid but are passed off as truth. There are many reports passed off as bogus that are more true than most would believe. Truth is subjective, and you get to decide what is true for you. Truth is always in evolution. It is always up to you to decide what you wish to use as your excuse to heal. Your intuition will tell you how a certain excuse for healing will affect you. If you have a full belief that a prescription will offer nothing but benefit to your body, then by all means take it and accept the benefit. But if you hold a belief system that there might be certain side effects, and those side effects do not resonate with the way you want to feel, then perhaps there is an alternative solution other than prescription medication. Anything that you put into your body is in a sense a consciousness meld. So at a subtle energy level, you are taking in the consciousness of any of the creators of the drugs that you might take, along with the intention of that medicine, and pulling it into your own consciousness and energy system. This often creates a mismatch of resonance between you and a particular healing modality because you personally have differing ideals than those which you've assigned to the company or individual who produced the healing solution. Your intuition in your body will show you what is best for you. You can choose to experience healing without any negative side effects, for truly side effects are really just effects. It is a clever twist of marketing that separates the beneficial effects from the negative effects and labels them as different things. Both are effects. You must listen to your body to know if the effects a particular healing method produces are best for your well-being. It is always your choice. Usually, disease and imbalance stems from deep-seated belief systems, and until you treat those, which is what homeopathic medicine is designed to do, you're only treating symptoms and pushing the root imbalance further and further down. The more you ignore an imbalance by only treating the symptom as opposed to the root imbalance, the greater strength the imbalance will have to manifest within you the next time around. The symptom is merely a signal that your body is giving you, saying that there is a deeper imbalance that needs to be resolved. When you treat only the symptom, as Western medicine has fallen into the practice of doing, and not the root imbalance, then that imbalance will continue to manifest as greater and greater signals in the form of more and more devastating disease. Your body will do whatever it must to get you to pay attention to it. Every disease or ailment is your body trying to save your life. You must listen for what your body needs from you if you truly wish to heal permanently. Your brain will pick out information for you to perceive that best serves you. Trust what it shows you. If you find yourself with certain information about a product that makes you feel like that particular product is not the right match for you, then by all means understand that that information was brought to you intuitively. Whether you received it through synchronicity outside of you or directly through intuitive thought, if the information feels uplifting to you, then use it to find the best solution that is tuned to your frequency at this particular point in time. When we are sick, is it possible to heal ourselves without any drugs? Or do we need to take a supplement, herbal remedy, or prescription pill? Again, it depends on your belief system. You are the decider. You get to decide how you wish to heal. It is possible to move from a sick body to a healthy body in less than a second, but it requires an intense amount of faith that it can happen in that way. Often it comes in more practical, intuitive nudges. The channel, Jon, recalls a time when he had flu-like symptoms and felt very sick and wondered if perhaps he should go to the doctor, but he decided that he wanted to have control over his own well-being and he wanted to heal himself. He sat quietly in his agitated place of imbalance, feeling sick, and asked what he should do. He got the inspiration that he should put on a winter jacket, wrap himself in a blanket, and lay under his comforter with the heater on. Now he started to sweat profusely for about 30 to 40 minutes, but after about 50 minutes of sweating in this fashion, the toxins merely left his body, his fever broke, and he felt fine. He of course was hydrating furiously throughout this entire process. He did not need to go to the doctor or take any medicine. His intuition told him that if he would sweat a little bit, that the toxins that were causing the problems would simply leave his body. For him, as with many illnesses, this was a form of purging old energy so that he could move forward with a clean slate, so to speak, a vibration that was more congruent with the realities he wished to experience. You get to decide how you choose to heal. Is this a process of becoming more intuitive with yourself, asking the question, who am I? Listening for answers and becoming more creative? Is this about being able to hear the call of our own healing a lot easier? At this particular frequency on your planet, as your galaxy moves into uncharted territory, so to speak, a place in the universe that it has not been before, you will find that there are certain energies that then come to your planet which affect the way that the magnetics of your planet interact with your DNA, and in this shift of magnetics, you have more access to your own intuitive thought. This is the invention that offers a linear narrative to an entirely new frequency of potential realities that you can choose to experience or hop to. And so yes, as you go through the experience of linear time, you will find that everyone on your planet becomes more intuitively inclined, because there is a tipping point in collective consciousness that begins to open up a vast array of new potentials to experience. What does the future of healthcare look like? Right now, the way that your healthcare system is designed is that someone is the sick person and someone is the healer, and the two are separate from each other. As more and more contrast and experiences come into your lives as a society, there will be a push towards each experiencing their own personal power in new ways. As this movement towards personal empowerment takes hold, there will also be a movement towards more alternative forms of healing being brought into mainstream practice. For as people become empowered, they become more intuitive, and then they begin to listen to their body, to their intuitive thought more often. Intuition will become much more a part of the healthcare system, for new tools will prove to mainstream practitioners that the body does have a certain intelligence to it. You will find that healthcare as a conglomerate system will find itself separating into smaller and smaller pods, the controlling power of those pods being dispersed to more and more people, opening up new options. Healthcare will become more personal. New technologies will allow it to become more personal. These technologies will allow for better self-diagnosis, and in the self-diagnosis driven by the technology, people will form the habit of asking themselves what they should do rather than asking a doctor. It is similar to how your internet has created a precedence for asking your computer questions and then expecting an answer. But the derivative of that technology is that people ask the question when they want to know an answer, where in the past they might simply say, "I don't know," and move forward in ignorance. Healthcare will move in a similar direction where technology will empower people. It will allow them to realize that a doctor is not the end-all, be-all, say-all of their health. They will take their health into their own hands, and you will find that healthcare will become more preventative and that people will start to live healthier lifestyles by thinking about their life and defining the things in it differently. As this happens more and more, disease as a whole will begin to fall to and affect only a small percentage of the population. What are your thoughts on Eastern medicine? I feel like the Eastern way of working with the body is more hands-on. It's actually using the body as a tool. What are your thoughts on healers, acupuncture, and exercise? Any form of healing that you believe will be effective in your reality, in your life. But certainly, what you've called the Eastern medicines were all designed intuitively. Ask any great acupuncturist, ask any energy healer how they know where to put the pins, how they know where to place their hands, and they will all tell you that it is their intuition which shows them. In that fashion, those Eastern medicine models will continue to gain traction and create a new frequency within people, an understanding that you are each capable of bringing in thoughts that can guide you towards well-being and health. Does Eastern medicine draw more on the person doing their own healing? First, let us remind you that you are always doing your own healing, no matter which excuse you use to inspire that healing. However, in Eastern medicine, much of the benefits seen have to do with the frequency of the tools used. Go to a traditional Western doctor, and oftentimes they will not even look you in the eyes. They will hide behind a clipboard. They will have a nurse ask you a series of standardized questions, and then they will give you a standard method of healing based on what they have been told works in the broadest sense for the items that have been checked on your chart. There are many wonderful Western doctors as well who are doing incredible things, but Eastern medicine is much more focused on creating a personal solution tuned specifically to the individual patient. Go to any Eastern medicine facility and it is a very hands-on experience. It is a very personal experience. In the personality of that experience, it tunes the healing to you, to your personal frequency. If Western doctors, and there are many who do this already, would spend more time with their patients, would understand their patients more, would truly use their intuition to uncover which healing device might be best for each individual patient, in the picturing of their patient and the solution together in their imagination, they're helping to create a frequency that pairs the personal body of the patient with the frequency of the healing device. This is one of the reasons that Eastern medicine can be more effective for some people when administered properly. Because in the hands-on experience, there is an easier, quicker melding of frequencies between the person holding the supposed imbalance or disease and the balance the healing solution is offering. Does every part of an injury or a disease have a message? Louise Hay has written a book that every symptom has a message, and if you do a certain affirmation, you can heal yourself. Or if you hurt your left foot, it means something. If you hurt your right foot, it means something else. Certainly, anything in your reality can have symbolism which guides you to a certain understanding, and the more you look for it, the more you realize that everything is symbolic. That is the purpose of the symptom, to symbolize what the root issue is. The origin of the word symptom actually means something that falls together with something else, meaning that the symptom is just the signal, the raising of a flag that there is a deeper root imbalance. You are the creator of your reality, and therefore everything that happens to you is a mirror to the vibration that you are holding. And so anything, disease, health, any symbol that you latch onto in your consciousness can tell you about the vibration that you are currently holding. Reality is a mirror. But if we were in your physical format, we would not practice the idea of needing something to go wrong so that we could better understand where we were at. Rather, we would head it off in advance by practicing a vibration of balance from the get-go. We would love unconditionally any experience that came into our life and trust that in that love, it will come into balance. What would you say, if anything, to traditional doctors practicing Western medicine? There's so much misinformation about Western medicine, and there tends to be a drive to say that it is no longer appropriate, or that there is some sort of a conspiracy out to get the patient or the consumer. And while certainly there is some of that, there are many, many Western doctors who are doing their very best to bring ease to their patients. They're not just prescribing a drug, but they are talking, they are soothing, they are understanding not only the physical symptoms that they can then prescribe something to cover up, but getting at the root problem that is causing something. The more that Western physicians can live intuitively, can look someone in the eyes, can ask their patients good questions so that they can understand not just what is wrong with the patient on the surface, but what psychologically, mentally, or emotionally might be causing this problem, the more success they will have in healing their patients and keeping them healed. Can you talk a little about mental illness and why it appears to be growing in popularity? Again, it comes down to the idea that imbalance will manifest itself through the path of least resistance. If you have certain ideas about mental health that would leave you open to experiencing mental illness, then that could be one form that the manifestation of imbalance might take. But in your question, you mentioned the popularity of mental illness, and oftentimes people will choose mental illness because it gives them an excuse to be weird, to be the way that they truly are. Oftentimes, mental illness is just an excuse for someone to be more of who they really are without having to conform to social norms. In accepting the mental illness, they no longer have to feel bad about being who they are because they can simply point to the mental illness, show off the prescription pill bottle and say, well, I've got this weird mental illness disease and that's just the straw I drew. Mental illness can be an excuse for you to go a little crazy, which is often the best thing that you could do. For in your craziness, you can discover very interesting creative ideas about your reality because you are literally, through mental illness, given an excuse to step outside the system. A doctor has written you a note that says you don't have to go to school today and you can go and do whatever you want. If we were in your shoes and some doctor had diagnosed us as being mentally ill, we would celebrate it. Mental illness often means that you're on a new frequency of thought. You're carving your own path, and you get to decide how your life looks because you're already crazy. We would relish in our craziness and never feel ashamed by it. In embracing it, we would take control over it and use it to our advantage. Could it be that mental illness is a sickness because we're not becoming who we wanted to become, because we're removed from ourselves? Everything you experience as tangible manifestation is the result of patterns of thought, even if you're not conscious of those patterns. If certain things were said to you in your childhood and then you practice those ideas over and over again, little Johnny is a bad boy, little Johnny will never amount to anything, little Johnny never does anything right. If those ideas were implanted into your mind at an early age and you continued to practice those things, then they can lead to certain mental illnesses. They can lead to certain what you might call creative blocks that then create the illusion of mental illness. But any mental illness can be cured by practicing new thoughts. Now, oftentimes finding an experienced practitioner, whether they be a therapist, a counselor, an energy healer, or even a trusted friend, can be a way for you to uncover possible patterns of thought that you've been living. But it is not necessary to dive into your past and experience all of those things over and over again. You can simply choose to start practicing a new pattern of thought now. We would, if we had been diagnosed as mentally ill, or even as perfectly sane, start practicing the frequency of appreciation. Look at your life and appreciate that you have 2 arms, you have 2 legs, or 1 arm and 1 leg if that is the case. Start practicing the frequency of appreciation. Start practicing the frequency of creativity. Start drawing and doodling. Start practicing the things that you're good at. Find anything that you're good at and do more and more of that, because what that does is it literally provides more energy and more space in your brain, so to speak, to then process out the supposed mental illness or subconscious patterns that are not serving you. The more joy that you feel, the more harmony that you feel, the more creative that you feel, the less stranglehold certain mental illnesses or diseases will have on you. Joy literally gives you more processing power. Could it also be that there's a sense of craziness when you start this path? When you start listening to the voices in your head? Could it be that it does feel a little crazy? Absolutely. We would celebrate our craziness and encourage all of you to be more crazy. For the greatest inventors, innovators, leaders, and teachers throughout all of your recorded history were all labeled crazy in their time. It takes a certain level of craziness to think against the grain and feel for your own personal truth as opposed to accepting what someone else tells you as doctrine. What does vitality look like? Vitality is the concept that you have everything that you need right when you need it. Anything that is vital to your existence is yours. And when you have a knowing that everything vital to you is already within you, then you are truly living your highest vitality. A lot of us experience aches and pains and injury. What is the purpose of this? Pain is just a way to draw conscious attention from your consciousness to a certain area so that it can heal better. But when you experience the pain and identify more with the pain, the signal, than with what the signal represents, which is the healing, then you prolong the pain, for you are focusing on the signal instead of the meaning of the signal, which is healing. Think about a building or campus that is comprised of many offices and floors and buildings, all connected but still separate. If a fire starts in one of the offices, the fire alarm goes off. Your pain is the fire alarm, your body the campus compound. Now in the compound, once the fire department has been notified and the fire has been put out, it is no longer necessary to have the alarm continue to go off. Even though the office still needs to be cleaned up and the fire damage repaired, you wouldn't force the people repairing the damage to work with that loud alarm going off. That would scatter their attention. It would make them rush through the job and not necessarily do their best because all they can think about is how they want to get away from that fire alarm. Your body is the same way. The pain acts as a fire alarm that alerts the emergency systems of your body and energy field to respond and take immediate action. But once the action has been taken and a plan has been put into place, the pain is no longer necessary for the most part. It will pop up from time to time just to remind you to favor that area of your body while it repairs, but it does not need to be great pain. For the most part, your body just needs to do what it does, allow healing to take place. But when you continue to focus on the pain, you're like that compound that forces its repair crew to do its work with the fire alarm going off. Your body just isn't nearly as effective at healing itself under those circumstances. So the best thing you can do is breathe into the pain, release it, find a distraction, laugh a little, talk about the pain in a positive light by saying that you're glad to have a body that knows how to repair itself. You're glad you don't have to bark out step-by-step orders. All of these things help subside the fire alarm that is your pain. In quieting the alarm, you allow the body to more effectively do its job, which is to keep you healthy. The more that you can see pain as a good thing, as a sign that your body is working appropriately, that is drawing to it the energies and the healing potential that is available, then you'll, 1, experience less pain. But 2, you'll be able to pivot from pain being a bad thing to pain being an appropriate thing for your healing. Although the more you're able to rise into your higher perspective, the more you no longer need to experience the fragility of your physical body. From a higher vantage point, as you become your fuller, higher self, you no longer have the need to experience pain unless it is something that you wish to experience. You can truly rise into a vibration that does not register the frequencies being sent to your brain about the pain. Being conscious about the reasons why the pain is manifested in the first place is usually enough to keep any pain at bay. I was just thinking of an experience that I've had. When I'm asleep at night, my hands go numb, which is known as carpal tunnel, and to me it comes and goes. I do a lot of yoga, I do a lot of movement. I feel that I am a healthy person, yet when I go to sleep, I'm being woken up in pain. I'm wondering why that would happen, but I had an interesting experience last night before I went to bed where I said, I intend to experience a peaceful sleep. My intention is to not experience any numbness and to have a peaceful sleep. And I did. Can it be that easy? Absolutely, and oftentimes certain pains or aches in the body come up merely to show you that you are in control of whether or not you continue to perpetuate the experience of them. They are an excuse to exercise your own personal power. But just as there is symbolism in your dreams, everything in your reality can have symbolism for you as well if you choose. Often you will manifest certain injuries or certain aches within your body as a way to showcase to you certain energetic blockages that you're creating from a psychological or mental perspective. Certain things that you are using as an excuse to not experience the fullness of energy flowing through you. Sometimes that energy blockage can be perceived as a numbness or a pain in the body. It can be helpful when you have an injury, for instance on your hands, to ask yourself, what is it that my hands do? If you're an artist, then your hands are the medium through which you create. So if you're experiencing a numbness in the hands, it could be that you're feeling a hesitation towards pursuing your artwork full time, or have some insecurities around the idea of creating art. Do we need to heal ourselves first then, before we can experience vitality? Do we need a healing process? The idea of well-being, as with abundance, is that perfect health is already who you are. You are already a healthy being. If you are experiencing some sort of discomfort in your body, then you are holding yourself apart from the health that is always coming to you. If there is some sort of discomfort, then you can make the decision to heal that discomfort, or rather to resonate with a new frequency of comfort. For truly, if you are trying to heal by focusing on the ache, then you are perpetuating the ache. But if instead you use the ache to identify the experience that you wish to have of your body, that of well-being, now you are directing your attention towards the way that you wish to experience, and you will start a perpetuation of thought that creates that experience. Is there an ultimate healing experience? The ultimate healing experience is to release all resistance, all filters from your mind, and simply be. For in being, all things become you, and you become all things. All things at their highest frequency exude health, vitality, abundance, joy, and exhilaration. When you turn your life over to your higher self and trust that everything happening to you is serving you in some way, then all of these things and more become yours. Is there a way of living that is completely energizing and healthy? There are many ways of living that are completely energizing and healthy. Each of you may have your own personal experience of vitality. That is the way. That is the reason for incarnating within this physical realm, to experience the delicious wholeness as separateness. And in experiencing the wholeness from the vantage point of separateness, there is an exhilaration, there is an excitement, there is a joy of becoming what you now remember you always were. In following your highest excitement, in following your joy, in choosing to be exhilarated in every moment, you're showcasing to yourself and to your reality that you are of a frequency of wholeness, you are of a frequency of health, you are of a frequency of vitality. We would say that the ultimate way to experience health and vitality is to, in every now moment, do the thing that most excites you. For in living your highest exhilaration, you are truly allowing the energy of all that is to flow through you without blockage. Excitement is the feeling that tells you that what you're doing is leading you in the right direction. Pick the most exciting thing you can actually take action on in any given moment and do that thing. Then watch beautiful synchronicity unfold in every aspect of your life. Excitement is the only currency you need in this life. There are people who have been given the term gym rat, and they go at exercise like it's going to lift them up, but it becomes this thing that they have to do. What would you say about the person that goes out and exercises like that? Many people on your planet enjoy experiencing the power of their body. They enjoy experiencing their flexibility. They enjoy experiencing their strength. If they are going to the gym because it brings them great pleasure to experience their strength in that way, then by all means it is one way of experiencing their own exhilaration, and therefore they are drawing more health to them. But if you're going to the gym because you feel like you have to, or because some magazine told you that you must, and you're doing it begrudgingly, then you are actually calling more attention to the idea that you're not currently living your highest excitement, and therefore the exercise will not be nearly as effective as it would be for someone who enjoys the idea of exercising and moving their body in that way. This is why it is important to find physical activity that matches your particular frequency, meaning something fun. Not everyone has to go to the gym and lift free weights or run on a treadmill to experience health. For many people, it is rock climbing or being out in nature, taking a hike, canoeing. There are many different ways that you can raise your heart rate and feel the exhilaration of your energy, of your blood flowing through your body. For truly, your blood is a carrier of energy to every cell in your body. When you elevate your heart rate, you are in essence giving the energy an excuse to flow through you more fully. So simply find some way to exert yourself in a physical way to raise the heart rate in a way that you enjoy. Some people enjoy doing their exercise at night in the form of going to dance clubs and dancing until the sun comes up. This is one way to experience your own health and vitality. Find the thing that excites you the most and do that. There is no one right or wrong way, and that is why it is laughable when so many magazines say that this is the way. If you are paying attention, you will notice that every single month they say that this is the way, and every single month it is a new this way. But you're saying that movement, that raising your heart rate is good for your soul, good for your spirit, good for your vitality? Anytime you are moving, anytime you allow your body to move intuitively, you are allowing energy to pass through you in a way that is not blocked. Anytime you are elevating your heart rate, you are essentially pushing energy through you in a way that clears the pipes a bit. As your blood is the carrier of certain nutrients and also toxins, when you escalate your heart rate, you are speeding the process at which your body can remove certain toxins from the muscles, from the various parts of the body, so that you can experience your energy in a fuller way. Can you give us, say, 5 ultimate tips we can take towards ultimate health? 1. Sit still, quiet your mind, and breathe fully. For in your breath, you're pulling in certain energy, you're pulling in oxygen, you're oxygenating the body, and in the oxygenation of the body, you receive more clarity and have more access to intuitive thought. It would serve you to sit quietly once, if not multiple times a day. Even if you're not sitting quietly, but just walking place to place, try to focus on your breath. Try to pull in oxygen any way that you can. Doing this rhythmically will allow your body to speed certain processes. It will allow you to digest your food better. It will allow for certain toxins to be removed from the body faster. It will allow you to have clarity of thought, for there will be more oxygen going to the brain, which is your mechanism for receiving thought. Oxygenating the body is one of the best things you can do for improved health, vitality, and energy. 2. Move your body. Move the body, not just your limbs while you're stationary. While escalating your heart rate in any way, certainly through calisthenics, can be an effective way to move energy and to help soften certain energetic and real blockages within your system, moving literally geographically through your world can be a way to open yourself up to new energy that might not have otherwise come to you. As you move around, the earth itself has certain frequencies and certain energies that are available to you that will provide you certain balancing. Think of life kind of like collecting coins in your old video game, Super Mario Bros. This is one of the reasons that you hear about hippies hugging trees or walking around barefoot. What they are actually doing, in addition to sending love into the planet, is absorbing certain frequencies that nature offers you that help balance your body and lower inflammation. Getting out in nature, even if you live in a metropolitan city, getting out where you are experiencing sunlight can be one way of experiencing nature. The sun truly is a mechanism for delivering certain frequencies, certain information to you. Being out in the sun where you are experiencing the lumen power of that big star in the sky can be a way to bring further balance and further intuition to your body. After all, the sun is the satellite dish that connects you to the rest of the universe. Move your body, move your limbs as you're moving through your day, but also move geographically and try to experience new areas of your physical world. For your entire physical world is a grid of energy, and as you move from place to place to place, you're picking up certain frequencies. Mario coins. Your body is designed in such a way that you have certain pathways of energy that do not necessarily connect all the time. However, certain frequencies in your reality can act as gates or bridges that connect energetic portals or passageways within your body, allowing for a completion of energy, a completion of the circuit, a completion of the circle that comes to you in the form of epiphany, energetic balance, elation, or all of the above. 3. Hydrate yourself. Your body is primarily made of water. What many do not actually recognize is that the blood is the liquid of the body. It is the water of the body for the most part. In hydrating yourself, you're allowing your blood flow to be more pure. You're allowing your body to detoxify more often. You're allowing your body to stay lubricated so that all of the systems are working. It is just like the oil in your car. If you are driving your car and have not put enough oil in it, certain parts of the engine will begin to dry up and not work as efficiently. Now the car will still drive. You can drive a car on very little oil, but it begins to eat away at itself. And as one piece stops working efficiently, it creates kinks in the rest of the engine until ultimately you're broken down on the side of the road. Hydrating can be a very effective way to 1. Remove toxins from the body more quickly, but 2, allows you to flow energy faster. For every time energy is flowing through you, it is in a way heating the body to a certain degree. It is literally like electricity coming through your circulatory system. Being hydrated can offer you a way to regulate that energy so that you can bring more of it through you. Therefore, hydrating, keeping hydrated, is one of the most important things that you can do for health and vitality. For it allows you to clear your system of things that do not need to be there. It regulates temperature, which allows you to flow energy through the body in new and faster ways. This makes you more intuitive and opens up all kinds of interesting abilities. 4. Eat more natural foods. All of the foods in your society have a certain energetic consciousness to them, for each food passes through many, many different hands. Every time a food passes through the auric field of anyone, it takes on a certain trace frequency of that person's energy. So you can imagine that foods that pass through many, many hands take on many different energetic values. If a food comes from a factory where the people in that factory feel as though their job sucks, that they are somehow oppressed, or that they cannot wait until they can get off work and go and have a beer and get hammered and forget about the crappy job that they have chosen for themselves, that consciousness gets imbued into that food product. If you will find more natural products that come directly from the source, you will find that they are a much more pure consciousness. Even with your animals, if you choose to eat animal meat as part of your diet, which is okay for your body if you choose to do so, in consuming animal meat, it is also important that you find sources of meat where the animal's transition back into non-physical or death experience was not one of prolonged pain or of agony. For truly, in certain slaughterhouse conditions, the animal is very afraid when they are killed, and the consciousness of that fear is put into the food, and then you are consuming the frequency of their fear when you eat that meat. That is why finding more natural, more humane sources of animal meat, if you choose to consume meat at all, can be a much healthier way to consume that food product. But the same goes for all food. If you can find a local source where you can buy directly from the person who raised the animal or grew the food themselves, there are many less hands that have gone through it, and therefore less energy traces, less frequency traces that might taint the food in some way. Often with local farmers, there is even an energy of love that the animals and the farmer feel for each other. In a certain way, some farmers act as the warriors of old, where they would go into the forest, confront a wild animal, and out of mutual respect and adoration, the animal will willingly give its life to the warrior. Consuming meat of this nature is lifting, revitalizing, and a true testament to the circle of life. After all, both humans and animals are each eternal beings, drawing to us the exact experiences that will provide us with the growth we lovingly seek. Now, this is not said to frighten anyone or to create a panic. Anytime you eat anything, if you will acknowledge it by blessing it, if you will say a prayer over it in utmost appreciation, if you ask it to be brought to a certain frequency that meshes well with your physical makeup, you have the ability, because you are in control of your reality, to bring anything to a frequency that will mesh well with your body. Your own personal alignment trumps anything that you put into your body. So when you focus on your own energetic balance and well-being, your own clarity of thought, then you need not ever worry about anything that you are intuitively guided to consume. 5. Touch your body. Too often, humans are living outside of themselves. You are experiencing your reality by touching all of the things around you, by being a part of all of the things around you, and you forget that the thing that is carrying you through this reality, the vehicle for consciousness to experience in physical reality, is the physical apparatus that you call the human body. When you give your body attention, either through personal massage, receiving a massage from someone else, or certain energetic treatments, you promote well-being and balance. It serves you to pay conscious attention to your body, appreciate your body, hug your body, thank your body, speak to your body. When you pay attention to your body, you're bringing it back to the energetic frequency of the original blueprint that is always available to you from your broader perspective. In bringing your body through the frequency of appreciation to the original blueprint available, telling each cell how to reproduce itself. You might have heard your scientists tell you that every 7 years, every cell in your body has recreated itself. Every 7 years, you're a completely new person, literally. Not one cell in your body is the same as it was 8 years ago. Now, of course, that timeline does shift from person to person. For some it is shorter, for some it is longer, but on average, that is a good number that your science is pointing to, 7 years. As you grow in remembrance, you will realize that you are actually a completely new body in every billionth of a second, jumping from parallel to parallel. But 7 years is a number that your science right now will back up for you. Now consider that what you are recreating every 7 years is merely the perpetuated energy pattern that the cells are using to reproduce themselves. It is quite possible, by choosing a parallel experience and seeing it clearly within your imagination until it produces a feeling of well-being within you, to shift into a parallel body that is completely healthy without having to wait 7 years. However, in the most practical of terms, in a way a scientist can prove to you, your body is completely different every 7 years. The way that your DNA is designed is to reproduce cell after cell. The double helix splits and then the RNA comes in and copies the DNA strand based on the half of the helix spiral that it is pairing against. You're literally recreating your body one cell at a time every single day. Who do you think your body is taking direction from? It is you. It is the vibration that you hold. The more that you can appreciate your body, the more that you can literally speak out loud to your body the way that you wish it to be, and the more that you can thank it for being the way that it is, thank it for carrying you around in just the way that you have energetically asked it to do, the more that you will allow your DNA and your RNA to tap into that higher blueprint, to frequency hop to a healthier and healthier body. Then, instead of your cells reproducing by making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, which is what results in the deterioration or aging of the body, they will be making every copy from the original blueprint, printing from the source file, not copying something old and degraded. As you begin to literally grow healthier cells, you will experience your body in more health, in more vitality, and live for a much longer period of time on this planet. Is there anything which is a major deterrent to health and vitality? Anything that you intuitively feel is not good for you will be a deterrent to health. Every time you feel uneasy about a decision regarding your health or anything else, know that your emotions are pointing to the fact that you have not properly lined up the energy about whatever it is you're thinking about. A feeling of uneasiness is merely showing you that your current perspective is not the way that your broader perspective sees you experiencing health. Anytime you're approaching some sort of exercise, some sort of food, some sort of regimen of any sort, use your emotions to discover 1, how you really feel about something, and 2, whether there might be a limited belief that is causing you to feel a certain way. If you look at the idea of exercise and feel uneasy about it, ask yourself out loud, do I have a limited belief regarding the idea of exercise, or is this simply not the exercise regimen for me? What would I have to believe for this to feel fun and rewarding? And then listen to see if some inspired thought comes to you on how you can experience exercise in a way that is joyful without being draining. Anytime you're acting out of accord with your vibration, it is deterring your health to some extent. Remember, though, that one bad thought does not give you a disease, but years and decades of thought patterns which are out of alignment with your true self can and will manifest imbalance in the body. So every decision that you make has a potential impact on your health. It is all connected. You will manifest through the path of least resistance. Whatever physical manifestation will show you where your current vibration is currently at. Any manifestation, anything you perceive, is a mirror to where your vibration is at on a particular subject, a mirror to the vibration that you are currently holding. If you have something going on emotionally in a relationship or in your career, oftentimes the path of least resistance for manifesting the idea or inspiration that encourages you to begin thinking about those things differently comes in the form of some kind of health ailment. Pay attention to the way that your health ebbs and flows, for it is showing you that there are areas of your life where you're not in balance. Everything or anything can be a deterrent to your health if you are not in alignment with it. Anything that you do not feel congruent with in your vibration can deter your health. But in the same way, everything can benefit your life as well. Everything and anything can benefit your health and vitality. It is merely your perspective of anything you're perceiving. It would serve you to learn to define everything you experience in a way that feels uplifting to you. Your definitions literally create the reality around you. Do you perceive something as being of benefit, or do you perceive it as being a detriment? If you are looking or thinking about anything and it makes you feel weak or powerless or uneasy, then you are not accurately interpreting its meaning in your life. Ask yourself what you would have to believe is true to feel uplifted about something, then decide to choose whatever inspiration comes up as your truth. When you feel powerless over anything, it is a prime opportunity to ask yourself, how can I find my own strength in this situation? What would I have to believe to feel powerful in this situation? And when you are able to find strength in everything, then nothing can deter your vitality. Your emotions will tell you what is best for you always. Why do we get tired or need sleep? Your body does not actually require as much sleep as most people give it. However, a major purpose of the sleep process is for your brain and energy field to have time to partition itself, so to speak. The idea of partitioning a hard drive on one of your physical computers is to rearrange information, which is just energy, to rearrange information in a way that allows it to be more accessible. This allows the computer to run faster because it has a better idea of where a certain type of energy or information will exist. Your energy field also, like a computer, requires time to run various background checks on your system, delegate resources to the body in an unresisted state to encourage cellular repair, and processes microdata on your day-to-day thoughts into macro data, integrating it into knowledge and wisdom as a whole, which your body uses to find its vibration and render the reality around it. This is often called processing. What you will discover as you rise in vibratory rate, though, is that you will process information and energy much faster, and as you process faster, you will require less sleep. As you process things, your body is in a way shifting energy around so that it is more accessible. It is bringing energy to certain parts of your body that require rejuvenation, but it is not necessary that you sleep as long as most of you sleep. When you are in balance and intuitively tapped in, your body has the means to pull energy from the very air around you. This is why when you begin to live your personal passion fully, you will notice that you sleep much less. And when you are far from living your passion, you are always groggy and drained of energy. Sleep is necessary when it is necessary. If you feel tired, it would serve you to take a nap. There is no right or wrong amount of sleep that one should get. If your body is hungry, feed it. If it is tired, let it rest. We will share a story of the receiver Jon, who for a time was practicing polyphasic sleeping. Polyphasic sleeping is the idea that you can train your brain into a new pattern of thought regarding sleep. Over the course of a few weeks, you find that your body is able to rejuvenate itself on much less sleep. In polyphasic sleeping, one goes to sleep for 15 to 20 minutes once every 4 hours, for a total of anywhere between 2 to 3 hours of sleep total per day. Now, there's obviously an acclimation process to this, and as Jon discovered, it took about 7 days for his body to get to a place where it was functioning again at a level that he would consider to be normal. But after those 7 initial days, as time progressed and as he continued the polyphasic sleeping pattern, he was able to train himself to go immediately into the sleep cycle your scientists would call REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, which is the segment of your sleep that provides you with the most regeneration, provides your brain with the most processing of information. By training your body to go directly to that process of REM sleep the second your head hits the pillow, you are able to get by with much less sleep. Jon found that after he had developed a pattern that was in alignment with polyphasic sleeping, there was more clarity of thought. There was an interesting stillness in his mind. Thoughts came to him with more access and more ease than he had experienced them before. There was a huge increase in productivity, for he was giving himself an extra 6 to 7 hours of waking time every single day. However, polyphasic sleeping is not very conducive to the social life of someone living on your planet, for unless all of you are sleeping in this way, it can make scheduling things rather difficult, although certainly not impossible. There were many times that Jon had to excuse himself from meetings in order to go and take a 20-minute nap in his car. In the end, Jon decided that polyphasic sleeping was not the way that he wanted to live his life, but it did prove to him that he could easily function normally, even in an enhanced way, on less and less sleep. It proved to him that he could easily rejuvenate his body on less and less sleep. He still takes naps in the afternoon because of the success he found in this polyphasic sleeping experiment. You might experiment with your patterns of sleep and see what works best for you. A way to work within the social confines of your society and still find yourself with more energy might be to split your sleep into 2 sections if it is possible. You would actually benefit much more and have more clarity of thought if you were able to divide your sleep cycle into 2 3 to 6 hour sleep sessions. For oftentimes what happens is that around mid-afternoon, you find yourself becoming groggy. You find your body feeling a little dragged down. And if you were to take a nap at that point, instead of downing an energy drink or having a cup of coffee, you would find that your clarity of thought and your productivity following the nap, even if it was only a short nap, would provide a noticeable increase in productivity. We would encourage any of you to experiment with sleeping at night for less hours and adding intermittent naps when it is feasible and easy for you if you choose to experiment with sleep in this way. Why do we age? Again, the process of aging has to do with the way that your body reproduces cells. When you are living by default without giving attention to or holding a vibration of vitality, when you are just living on default and allowing mass consciousness to program how your cells reproduce themselves, what happens is that every time your body reproduces a strand of DNA, it does so by making a copy of the old strand of DNA. Over time, your body is making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And just like with a Xerox machine, if you have ever taken an original photo and then made a copy and then removed the original photo and put the copy into the machine and made the next copy from it, and then taken that new copy of the copy and made a new copy of that, you will notice that there is a slight degradation of the image over time as you continue to make copies of copies. This is very similar to why aging happens in your body, albeit a highly simplified analogy. For you are making a copy of a copy of a copy of each strand of DNA as your body reproduces. However, the more that you hold your body in a state of appreciation, the more that you live every now moment in a state of exhilaration, the more that you will experience a feeling of timelessness, and the more access you will give your DNA, which is connected through quantum entanglement to your brain, to your energy field, and to your higher self. The more that you live your life in a state of exhilaration and excitement, the more access you give your body to drawing from the quantum field, from your higher, broader perspective, where it will produce each new cell from the master blueprint available to it, as opposed to simply making copies of copies of copies. It's the difference between making copies of something or printing the document directly from the source computer file. The document printed from the source file will always be more vivid and clear. In this way, by living your highest excitement, by being in exhilaration in every now moment, you can experience a youthfulness. You can experience youthing as opposed to aging. Many of you, as you put this into practice, will look in the mirror one day and say, "Wow, I look 10 years younger, 20 years younger today than I did before I started this experiment." The paradox, of course, being that you have to start seeing that younger person in the mirror today in order to experience the manifestation tomorrow. You cannot see yourself as you are and expect to become something different. Use your imagination and prosper. That is how effective it can be once you find a congruent alignment with your broader perspective. Is dying necessary? And why do we die? Death is not a necessary experience that you must go through, for many of your spiritual practices have pointed to certain avatars or teachers who have ascended from the planet in what might be termed a light body. Literally, they sped up the vibratory rate of the mass and matter of their body so quickly that it became light, and they transcended this plane of existence without having to go through the experience of death. Death is not an experience that you must have. The reason that so many of you do experience it is because in allowing your body to age, in allowing your body and mind to become brittle and inflexible, in allowing your mind to decline to a place where it does not have the clarity you once enjoyed, you wish to reemerge into source energy and then come back to the planet with a new, fresh perspective. Even those who die with seeming perfect health simply decided from a broader perspective that they wish to either experience this planet from some other non-physical vantage point or to come back in with a new physical perspective. Oftentimes, intuitively, your body will recognize that there is some sort of a shift in collective energy, a shift in consciousness that is being offered to those children physically focusing into this planet as their energy passes through the magnetic and consciousness grids of the Earth plane. Rather than spending the time that the body feels would be necessary for altering and changing your current vibration of DNA, your current belief system, so that it has access to that intuitive information, it is simply an easier and faster process to experience death than move joyously into non-physical energy and refocus onto the planet from a different perspective. You are the decider. You get to choose when you have the death experience if you so wish. Many monks decide their own death. Many spiritual people throughout time have decided the exact moment of their own death. They either ascend through the light body, or they close their eyes, count to 3, and leave their physical form. It is actually the most natural way to do things. Your animals often do it in just this way to showcase to you that it is possible and can be pain-free. You could say that all death is actually suicide, because you're all choosing that you want to die at some level. Usually you decide that you wish to experience from a new perspective. In the vibration that you're holding, in the influence that your higher self has over your physical vantage point, you simply decide to remove yourself from the body and experience from a new perspective. When you recognize that you're an eternal being, then you begin to play the game a bit differently. This eternalness is the framework which your broader perspective is making all of its decisions. You are eternal. You have lived long before you were in this physical body, and you will continue to live long after. Just knowing that is enough for many to live in a completely new way. Again, it is a paradox, for when you are no longer concerned with death, you discover that you live forever. Death is not the tragic experience that most of you would assign it from your physical vantage point. It is a very joyous experience of becoming your whole self, your fuller self, and as such should not be feared but embraced. The more that you're consciously aware of the transition process, of what death actually is, just a reemergence into all that is, into absolute thought, the more that you can live your life for the moment instead of fearing that you are running out of time.